Look, it's tiny trash. I wanted to go to the dollar store and get those little popper things, but I didn't have time. So you're probably like, who is this crazy girl and why does she not know how to start a video? You're probably wondering who I am. I'm Hannah Stewart. I am a recent CU grad. I am a bookworm, or as I like to call myself, a book bear. Even though I was a super avid reader when I was younger, I kind of lost that love of reading, mostly because school. Don't get me wrong, I love school, but when you have to read so many books and so many articles for so many different classes, it kind of sucks all your motivation away. So here I am. I've started a book blog. I've been at it for a few months now. It's been super fun. And for those of you who already are familiar with my blog, you're probably wondering, but wasn't that enough? Yes and no? I don't know. I was talking about it a little bit ago with my boyfriend, and he was like, wow, you're really excited about books. And I was like, yes. And he was like, you should make a YouTube channel. And I was like, that would be super cool, but I'm a little shy, and I don't know if I want to put myself out there. And then I went to DC on a whim because I felt like it, and I met another Nick who was like, oh my gosh, you should make YouTube videos. That sounds super cool. So here I am. So with it being New Year's, everyone's making resolutions, and I am no different. My resolution this year, which hopefully I will stick to it at least a wee little bit, is to read more nonfiction. I'm definitely more of a fiction lover, as you can tell by the majority of the books that I've posted about on my blog already. So to bring in the new year, I have Astro Poets by Alex Dimitrov and Dorothea Latsky. I promise. I found this in the nonfiction section of my library. You can see the little decimal number here. It's not in the fiction section. And I know some of y'all are probably a little skeptical of astrology, and honestly, I don't give it 100% of belief, but I think it's really fun, and like maybe you might find something fulfilling in it. As a quick side note, the two authors have a super fun Twitter, and I will include the link to that down below, and you should check them out. But as far as the book goes, it's a super fun, quick read. It's honestly, it's laid out like a reference book. It's pretty new too, so that's kind of exciting. I don't know, I feel like you see a lot of astrological zodiac guides kind of throughout the internet mostly, but also in books and like kind of like a spooky niche occult bookshops. So it's really cool to see one in your local library, or at least in mine. I love the layout of it. I love the voice of it. The two authors take turns writing different chapters of the book, and they obviously wrote the introduction together, at least based off of my reading of it. That's what I would assume. And it's super informative. So it goes past just like what Cosmo might say your horoscope is for this week. It talks a little bit about your sun sign, which is what everybody thinks of. It talks a little bit about your moon sign, some other astrological shenanigans that may or may not be important to you. It has a super nifty, let me find it, a super nifty compatibility chart. So if you have someone that you love or that you're crushing on, maybe you give this a look. See if you're a 10 out of 10. Although good luck to you if you're a Gemini and a Pisces, because apparently you're only a 1 in compatibility. So best of luck to you. Check out their moon sign. Maybe you'll have more luck there. Something else that I really liked about the book is the way that they organized the sections. So they start off, I flipped to Virgo for example, and they have a nifty little poem to start it off. Virgo's is, the house too was like this, over-painted, over-lovely. The world is like this. It's by some guy named HD, or woman, I don't know. Born September 10th, 1886. So then they talk a little bit about the sign, and then they talk a little bit about things you might want to know about them. And then this is where it gets kind of fun. Unlike Again, a lot of your standard ones that include simply who they are, what they're like as a lover, which is in here, and what they're like as a friend, which is another section that's of course included. They also have some cool stuff like Virgo style. For example, if there's one word to describe the style of Virgos, it's intricate. They love layers, vintage pieces, and subtle but elaborate design. And then they go on to talk a little bit more about like how in their anecdotal experience they've come to recognize Virgos to style themselves. And then it goes on to texting with the Virgo, which I thought was super fun to read. The two authors do it a little bit differently. Dimitrov sets up the texting situations as different categories, like a sext with a Virgo, or a Virgo when they text you because they're being existential. Whereas Lasky sets it up as a Virgo texting an Aries, a Virgo texting Gemini, a Virgo texting another Virgo. And regardless of who's writing it, all of the texting with the Virgos and all the other signs, they're super interesting and really fun to read, I thought. They go into the imagination, and that was honestly one of my favorite sections, because I feel like, again, a lot of times when you think about the stars and astrology, you just think, good luck is coming your way, watch your bank account. And so, since we're still talking about Virgo, because I'm in this chapter, it says, if Virgo were a city, they'd be Portland, hip, progressive, and annoying. If they were a punctuation, they'd be a period, final, authoritative, and at times hard to read. And I thought that was pretty cool. It goes on for a little bit, giving other examples of what Virgos would be if they were various things. And it kind of, I feel like, gives a new perspective of looking at the signs, because I think a lot of times we just get caught up with a lot of stereotypes, and that's not always the most fun. Of course, they hit on a couple of famous people who share that sign. They even have a playlist for people of that sign. Apparently, if you're a Virgo, you should listen to Amy Mann's Save Me, among others. Have not listened to this. And then, because the two authors are poets, they included an actual, like, fuller poem than the little quote poem at the beginning of each chapter. So I thought that was a really cool way to organize the book and to break it all down. And I thought it was just a lot of fun. So if you don't believe in astrology, I think it's kind of a fun thing because it kind of puts astrology in a new perspective, and it's not all about love, sex, and money. And if you are into astrology, I think this is a pretty good reference guide. My sister, who is also doubling as my film crew today, she actually got me the book for Christmas, so shout out to her. Her links will be down in the description below, as will the other two Nicks that I referenced earlier for giving me the inspiration and the push for this whole idea. I'm going to try to keep this short, kind of like my blog. Obviously this one's going to be a little bit longer since it's an intro video, and probably the next couple of ones will be a little bit longer too. And speaking of the future ones, if I keep this going, which I guess is my second New Year's resolution to actually fulfill something, I will be looking at Naja Marie Aitz's When Death Takes Something From You, Give It Back. So far, it's been a very emotional read. It looks really short, but don't let that deceive you, because if you're an emotional reader, I think that might make it a little bit longer for you. So that said, I had a lot of fun talking with y'all. Hopefully you come back, and even if you don't like my videos at all, check out my blog. The link to that will be down below, and if you came here from my blog, thank you so much, and thanks.